I'm starting today's walk in Alston Field, a quiet dale, high fields above the river and a classic return through Dovedale to Milldale. So before I leave Alston Field I'll drop towards the dales and I'll take a moment for my peaks check. So personal, how I'm feeling today is all good. Environment, well, the weather now is pretty breezy, but it looks like it's going to be sunshiny all day, and certainly it's going to be a bit cool, about 10 degrees, but hopefully my waterproof can just stay in my bag. The walking solo and my knowledge of the route, Wolfscote Dale, then we're going to the high fields above Dovedale, we drop down towards Thorpe Cloud and then return through Milldale. And safety, I've got all my navigation, I've got my layers, I've got my kit bag all filled up, and peaks looks good and we can go for our walk. And this time on this walk I've remembered my eyewear, and I'm determined to have more drinks so that I don't get a headache like last time. Route starts up quite exposed. It's lovely, it's quite exposed, but you can see down there some of the dale where we're going to be walking. So we've got to descend down there and it should be a bit quieter. When you're walking your track, keeping your head up, of course, enjoying the view. Every now and again do remember just to have a look back. The way looks different that way, and you never know when you'll be walking the opposite track. Okay, in this shade of Narrowdale Hill I can refer to my map, and I'm seeing that I'm at a junction underneath the hill where two paths just join together, two clear tracks join together, which was a nice feature. So I'm choosing my next feature now. I know that I'm going to walk down to a wall, and then I've got contours down for 10, 20, 30, 40 meters down to the end of another track. So I know that that's going to be my next feature. Got in my mind, wall, downhill, then I've got a defined two-walled track. So I'm going to next get my map out when I get to that point. The day begins gently leaving the village and threading between the fields, and it's a soft descent with the sound of the river slowly rising to meet you. Walking through Wolfscote Dale is easy to forget that this whole corridor was carved by water, not slowly but with enough force to cut the vertical limestone walls. The river still shapes the path today. When it's low, the dale feels wide and calm. When it's high, the trail tightens and the landscape becomes a bit more dramatic. Wolfscote Dale is generally quiet and contained. Limestone walls, soft light, and the river guiding the way downstream. It feels sheltered, almost hidden. Consider the scenario: slips and trips. As the path narrows and the ground becomes uneven, you have a choice. Do you stay on the higher bank for stability, or do you drop closer to the river where the footing is firmer? Wet limestone is very different to walk on than that of wet grit further north. Small choices shape the day. As I approach the craggy section, I know that in my mind my next marker was the fact that I've got another, like a dry dale, meeting me from, which was quite large, meeting me on the left hand side. So I know that when we look at the features of the valley branching out and there's decisions to be made, that's where I need to have another check at my map. Okay, well there's my other feature. It's a dry dale. It's really clear that that joins and intersects. That's Biggin Dale. And now I know I'm going to be climbing in a minute. So because we've got to get back up onto the tops, I know I'm going to get warm. So time to get a layer into the bag. Down here alongside the river, where the valley is very V-shaped and narrow. When you get out of the sun, you can physically feel that the air here was cooler than it was when we were up there. So remembering cold air is sinking, or cold air sinks, and so therefore it will be cooler down here, and then also cooled by the stream, the river. We know on a day like this though, actually, when it's super sunny and windy up on the tops, but actually this is a very pleasant place to be. It suddenly breaks out into farmers' fields. It's a bit more difficult to see the track, but can you just see the footprints just through here? So we'll follow them up. We know this is right because we're taking a bearing. All the little paths and stuff have grown up as the spring grasses are covering them up a little bit. It's so obvious, little the stile here, and then sometimes you just get into sections where it looks like it just disappears. The one thing I've got in common with all of these on this section of walk is they are all going in a similar direction. Up here the river is well out of sight, but still shaping the land below. The path crosses farmland, follows old lines between walls and hedges, and ahead Thorpe Cloud begins to stand out, a clear objective on the horizon. Thorpe Cloud looks almost a bit too perfect, a limestone pyramid rising out of the valley. It's actually a reef knoll formed from ancient coral beds that hardened into rock. Wind and water did the rest, carving it into shape that we see today. The next scenario I'm thinking about is heat and hydration on such a lovely sunny day like this. In open fields with very little shade, somebody mentions a headache. Is it just effort, or is it the early signs of dehydration? A short pause, a drink, and a check-in can turn the day around. Near Thorpe Cloud. Thorpe Cloud dominates the view. A small peak with a big presence. Whether you climb it or pass beneath it, it marks the turning point of the day. From near Thorpe, the route turns north and follows Dovedale upstream. The shapes are familiar: limestone towers, river bends, and the feel starts to change as you leave the busiest stretch behind where the stepping stones are. Step by step the valley quietens towards Milldale. As we head north into the quieter stretch of Dovedale, the atmosphere changes. The air still cool and the sound softens, and the valley feels more enclosed, a natural threshold, the busy southern end behind you in the calm of the Milldale ahead. We're just coming up to Milldale, and it's a natural pause, a quiet place to look back at where we've walked. From here the path climbs steadily away from the river, returning us back up to fields, walls, and finally the lanes of Alston Field. A day of contrasts, shaped by the smart wrist choice.